an industry disruptor. You came into our world more from like the YouTube angle, Marley, but now we are deep in your Titans world and just it's revolution our business. You're also a client of ours that we work with. And so just so happy to have you on today and to dive a little bit into this whole delivery system that you decided to do. And so thank you so much for being here today, Marley. We so appreciate it.
Was so thrilled. Like, you guys have done so much for me, and there's part of me that's like, "Oh, they're my secret weapon. I can't tell everyone or else it can't be a secret anymore." But it's so good, everyone needs to know. So I just, like, shout it from the rooftops.
Thank you, Marley. Okay, before we get into delivery system, though, I want to go a little bit back. So you are, by all intents and purposes, you have the domain authority. You know what you're doing. You have people coming to you. You have the events that you're doing. You have the authority out on social. You know your stuff, and you make great content. And so most of the time, when people have those three things, you could have a thriving business with just those things. You don't necessarily need to invest in a delivery system. So my first question is, where does that come from, and where does that drive of like, no, I want to actually invest in a delivery system in addition to all of the other things that I provide.
Yeah, I've made lots of courses and programs and, curriculum over my however many years I've been in business. And I think that it's like one of those things that you're constantly trying to evolve in and make it better. And then sometimes it feels like it's just this never-ending project because we have new things that we learn that we want to teach or the market changes. And I also know what it's like being a customer in a program where you're given like a Netflix of content, like a junk drawer of just like, here's these things, figure it out. And I never wanted to create that for my customers. Like, I respect them too much. I also know that I have a lot of value to give. So if I'm just like, here's a bunch of puzzle pieces, figure it out, like, that's not benefiting anyone. And I want my customers to be able to get a result. And of course, it's such a bonus if they want to keep working with me, whether it's in the next level or just stay in a recurring program. And like, to think about how much money and energy and effort we as marketers, entrepreneurs spend to acquire a customer, if we spend all that effort to acquire them, but then like don't show them that same effort to fulfill on them, why would they keep coming back? And I heard of this exercise once that was like, pretend that you could only sell one person one thing for the rest of your life. And it had to be so good that that one sale would get so much referral and word of mouth that would just build the rest of your business. I am up for that challenge. I want something that people come into and go, whoa, this is beyond what I thought I was signing up for. This is amazing. And that doesn't have to mean more. And I think that that's a misconception. Like, well, I'll give them more curriculum. And then there's this module and there's these things. But I've also heard of people that will sell like a really expensive thing that's like a small curriculum because it's minimum viable dose to get them to that. And so working with you guys, you've helped to be able to take all the knowledge in our head that sometimes it's like you can't read the label from the inside. You're like, is this important? Is this good? Where do we put this in the right places? That having you guys as the experts, like, you've been able to point out and structure and choreograph what we didn't know to do on our own, and as a result is leading to so much more success in our programs and second money, because second money is even more valuable than first money. And then does that lead to third and fourth and forever money?
Yes, I love that, and I love that visual of the one person. That is really
Mm.
powerful. Yeah. Okay, I want to go back to one moment, Marley. That's probably my favorite moment in when we were doing journey crafting together. And it was you had a great idea where we were talking about the identity step, and you talked about we had the capitalist pig pledge, but then you threw in the letter to money. And I
Mm.
feel like what that did is like, especially in just like looking at the people sharing their letters of money, it warmed it up. Where did that come from? And I'm so curious about that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of that exercise from a friend of mine that he was talking about, and he was actually a client of ours too. He became a client later. That when I first started working with him, I didn't know this at the time, invested his last $2,000 to work with us. And then next month made $82,000. So, like, how incredible is that? And he told me that before he was always struggling with, like, I'm working so hard and I'm never making enough money. And he was given this exercise to write a letter to money. And the first time he wrote it, it was kind of this like, I worked so hard for you and you're never there for me, and like really poured his heart out, and then realized, this is interesting. This is my relationship with money. Like, as if it was a person that I'm like transactional and demanding of it instead of in like a co-creation opportunity. And that's exactly what we're trying to create when it comes to capitalist pig. Like we're trying to define capitalism because there's a lot of misconceptions out there or even like stigmas that it's evil. And something that Steve will say a lot is like capitalism making money, and capitalism is a vehicle the same way that like a car in the hands of someone who is inexperienced, that is dangerous, or someone that is experienced, it can take you places. And so I thought that it'd be a great exercise that as we're teaching people how to make money, and this is in any program, like there's always mindset and false beliefs we have to overcome, and especially in business, if you have a great product and you have a heart to serve people, but you're afraid of making money, that's just it's not going to do anyone good. And so I think we need to give our money a job. Because if you think about like, oh my gosh, you get this scary health bill or tax bill, like if you're backed into a corner, you're likely going to do anything to figure it out. But if it's like, I want to make money to be able to provide for my family without having to, scrounge or live in ways that aren't, doesn't even have to be luxurious, but just like the ways that I saw, sometimes like we can put that on the back burner because we make it too much about ourselves instead of about what's the bigger purpose to this, and that you don't have to be backed into a corner to give money a job. And so I think it's been so cool to see people's responses to this and to see their relationship with money, and to even take that step outwards to look at it like it is a relationship. If this was a person, would you talk to a person like that? Like this is a mirror.
Yeah, so true. So well said. Okay, the other thing that's unique about when we started working together that I think is important to mention is that so you and Steve are powerhouses in your own rights, and then coming together, it's like this massive powerhouse. But the body of content that you had, and the things and the people that were already subscribed to, and then now we're slowly bringing in those historic legacy customers who were a part of that and bringing them into this new experience. And again, I know that's sometimes, especially for anybody watching who might be doing the same thing, that can get messy. But I feel like the way that you and Steve have navigated that, and like just the process of bringing them in, has been so graceful. Do you want
I
to
hope
just
so.
mention a little bit about like, yeah, that just your thought process on that and like how to bring everybody in so that it's like all vectors are pointing in one direction for
Mm.
that second sale?
Well, you've helped us with that a ton. It's like, well, here's the pathway, here's the milestones, here's the identities that they're going to come into along the way. And we know that like kind of the milestones in our world is like, first of all, to really own the identity of an entrepreneur. And what we speak to in that is like, what's the entrepreneurial IQ? What do you need to go through in your mindset, in your money mindset, in your skills, your abilities, in your relationships and your network? Which I think that's like one of my superpowers is teaching people like the networking side of things. Like
You are so good at that.
one connection can change everything. And I totally, I mean, we talk about Dr. Benjamin Hardy so much, like his book 10x is easier than 2x. Like find those 10x relationships that's just like a wormhole into a new dimension. I totally got off topic with that, which
That's
just got
okay,
me
that's okay.
excited. But then like our kind of top is like we want to help people become the titan of their industry, that like their name is synonymous with their industry. And I think what we hear so much from people is they're like, I am the best kept secret in my industry. And I do things that my competitors don't, but the audience, the market doesn't know about it. And so that's how we've kind of been able to take people from just like the entrepreneurial, the tactical stuff. Like a funnel isn't a business. A funnel is a puzzle piece in the business, but then it's like the branding, the messaging, the market signal, the permanent distribution, which is going to make people into titans. Working this out with you has helped us to put those pieces in place so that it's not just like, here's a funnel, here's a video, here's your social media. Like I think about that as like selling the plane tickets instead of the destination. Like if I'm going to Hawaii, I don't want to know that it's going to take me 2 flights to get there, even though it will, and
Yeah,
it's worth it.
yeah.
But I want to be sold like the blue waters and the warm sand. And so but at least having those pieces together, I don't know, it's made it so much easier. And we've really seen it, especially in the last like month, that that it's been easier to sell because of the pathway you've helped us to create.
Oh, that's so good to hear. And I mean, and the path is, I mean, it required, I think, of you and Steve to really like, you spent a lot of time with us mapping that journey with such good intention, and I think it was definitely a co-creation process, and, yeah, you guys just even being willing to do that, I think is a unique, needed breed of entrepreneurs in this world,
Yeah,
and so, yeah,
definitely.
it's very
Yeah, I
interesting.
was gonna ask you, Marley. I think you maybe kind of answered this just now, but there might be some other things too. Is there now that you have, when you guys first came to us, I know that Steve said he's like, I've never really focused on our delivery before,
Mhm.
and now that we've been focusing a lot on delivery, has it changed um how you approach the products that you're thinking about making, or has it affected how you approach or think about the marketing of the front end? Like, are there any things that actually putting some intent in your delivery has changed in your business?
It's simplified it so much because as much as I talk about, like, no one wants a Netflix junk drawer of content, it's so easy to fall into that, especially when Steve and I are very innovative. We're learning all the time, and then we get excited and wanna turn around and teach it to people, and so it could be overwhelming if we're like, here's this, and you get this, and you get this." And it's like, but what am I actually joining? Like, people aren't paying high ticket to just get access to watch videos. They need a transformation. And you guys said this like from the beginning. We are in like people need experience. People need transformation. They're not just paying for information. And so we even like have some decisions that we'll have to talk to you on the back end that we're like, we're actually going to simplify things even more because yeah, people don't need 100 modules that you can watch at your own pace. Like, no, they want 6 videos that are going to get them to this result. Of course, we can have more. And the way that you've even structured that, like, we have a library, we have this, but this is the path. This is the path to Oz. This is your yellow brick road. Go.
Mhm. Yeah, so true.
Love I
Yeah.
love that it's simplified.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that Andrea and I have said, and credit to Andrea for coining it first, but one of the things that we say in our business is that we sometimes um, complicate or not complicate, but use more complexity in our tech and in our systems because it actually simplifies everything. And so I really love that, thinking through about how just the delivery side of the business by putting more focus there, by implementing system there, has actually simplified other areas of your business. So it's really nice to hear that
Yeah.
it's done that.
And it's been great for my nervous system too, because we have also fallen to the trap of being like, we have all these things and I'm doing this and I also have this program, I also have this program. And instead it's like, this is our program and this is what I do. And I can do less better.
Mhm. Yeah, so well said. Yeah. Um, okay, so I want to talk you also made a bold decision. I think it's a bold decision in that a lot of times I think people feel like they need to just kind of let people in and let them just do whatever they want. And I know we talked a lot about like, no, 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 let's kind of blinders on and say, no, do this, then do this, then do this. Can you talk a little bit about that, coming into that decision and yeah, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it weeds out people who potentially want to work with you, who potentially have money in hand that are like, please let me join your program so that I can, have a piece of your brain. And we're like, great, but here's how we work with people. Okay, but could I just like pay for just the consulting? No, this is how we work with people. Because if I have like, okay, I consult these people and then I have this program and then I have these calls over here, then I don't have a business. I have like a schedule that I have to adhere to because of obligations. And so there in one way, it felt like, "Oh, no, I'm going to turn people away." But then on the other hand, once we got over that little mindset road bump, um, it was that the yeses that came through were a much stronger yes, and now I have a system that I'm selling a system, not me. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how much of a relief that is, and it also makes me show up on sales calls differently because I used to sometimes be like, I gotta like give people my time and I gotta make sure I respond fast enough. And if I don't know what to say, then like they're not getting what they need. They're not buying me. They're buying a program that I am facilitating, but they're like anyone else could facilitate it too. We could have other coaches in the program. We could have other for us, it's really important to us. We've been in programs where like we don't actually see the host and like want that's why we came and we want to have access. So that's never our intention. But just to like the mindset of it's not resting on just me. I have a system now.
You made a really, really good point right there because we talk to people all the time and we see it. Like, if anyone who is in earshot of listening to this interview, you've witnessed entrepreneurs rising, scaling, and then burning out. And they don't know how to, like, we're all told to be the attractive character in our business, and then it's like, okay, but I want to like step back now. How do I step back now? And you're just at a key thing that you've been able to do that because and Andrea teaches uh basically like you got to choose what kind of guide you want to be. And I think people just don't realize that it's possible to, when you have a delivery system and you've built it around the way that you want to show up and serve, it's still serving your customers, and you're able to have any amount of time in it or out of it that you want.
Mhm. Such a
Yeah.
relief.
Yeah. And the other cool part is, especially if anybody's watching, because I think everybody has different parts of their program. The unique thing about you guys is that you guys are running events, a lot of events, and you're able to still leverage that event content. We pull it into the journey, and you are even providing a service, in terms of like funnel builds at times, for the purpose of the stage book, and you are showing up like you're available in a mastermind style. And so I think a lot of times when people think about delivery system, I think they think just the Netflix content library, which you guys also have, but in your higher ticket program, there's so many more things that are happening in that. And I feel like the way that you've gone about structuring it is there's still a clear path. There's still a
Yeah.
clear journey, even with those pieces.
And I think there's a risk reversal because of the asset and the assets and the experience that we're providing in addition to information. I've
Mm,
definitely joined programs where it was like, here's the information and you need to install it. And that's totally valuable. Like I will still buy programs like that. But I love that you've helped us to create the experience and the assets that come with it. So like, in the pitch, if all you did was just use this part, you would get this. And like we have so many of those bullet points to say, if all you did was just your onboarding, if all you did was run an event, if all you did was do the stagebook model, if all you did was let us build these 3 funnels for you, if all you did, it's like, why wouldn't the right person sign up for this? And then it gives me and my team so much confidence on sales calls because we're like, we know that there is an ROI easily in all these places. Um, and if it's just not the right fit, then it's not the right fit. But for the right person, it's like it's so easy. And then I also have the confidence to not try to mold. Like sometimes you get on a sales call, and if you don't know the system, it's like, oh well, I could just add this in, or maybe we need to change this in the program. Like this is it.
yes. Oh my gosh, so been there and so seen that. Yes, totally. If somebody was like, I really want to be in your world and where do I go? Where would you advise them to come find you and just dive deeper into your world?
Yeah, come check out titansofindustry.com. That explains everything that we do and also what Susan and Andrea have amazingly helped us with and is a masterpiece. Like, I feel so grateful that we have this program. And like I said, for me getting on sales calls, I'm like, this is easy to sell because the program is just so strong on its own. So yeah, come to titansofindustry.com, but also feel free to reach out on YouTube, look up Marley Jaxx, or Instagram, look up Marley Jaxx. I'm the only one that responds to my DMs, so you're not going to get a VA pretending they're me or anything.
Well, and I will just say you should follow Marley, even if you are anywhere in marketing, because she is a master at content. You are so good at it. And I know I learn every single day, and following your content is so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Marley, for your time today. We look so forward to continuing working with you and just thank you.
Thank you.